Fede, let me start with this. We've had a Ridley Scott horror approach in the original Alien and the James Cameron's action powerhouse in Aliens before it went into different directions with different creators. So where would you place your take on Alien?
I don't think I try, like what's going to be the take or what. I think we try to come up with completely new story. The story doesn't really it doesn't have a lot in common with those two or any of them. It's quite a different story this time. Then visually, though, I did want it to be an amalgamation of one and two. It was like, what if you take one and two, put them on top of each other, look through them, and see what you see. And I knew that if you try to combine the styles and even some of the genres of those films combined, there will be something new that will come out of that. That was kind of the recipe, if you might. Like, let's try these two ingredients together, see how it tastes. For me, it tastes great. It tastes like all I love. It tastes like the best thing of all those movies. Of my favorite two movies of the saga. So really, that's all you can do, really. Try to have an approach, and then whatever comes out of the combinations, it's out of my control, really. I wish I could control exactly what's the take and what's the output. All you can really do is say, I'm going to use a bit of this, a little bit of that, and see what happens. And usually what will come out is something completely new. Like even all the elements we use combine in 2023 and coming out to 2034, it just create something that doesn't look like, at the end of the day, is not like anything that came before.
Alien for me is the most unusual movie to become a franchise. Yet here we are after what, 6 movies and 2 Predator spin-offs, countless comic books, games. So why do you think Alien has such a broad appeal?
It's a complex question. I think obviously in the movie side, Ripley is such a fascinating character that you will follow her everywhere. So I think that's what, probably kept a lot of us glued to those movies for a while. I think it's the xenomorph in that world, in that particular creature. It's so special. It's one of those things. It's similar as the Predator, like the creature in Predator. Like it's just those things. Is such a one of a kind invention that is such a icon and almost like a fetish object, a fetish creature that we always, for me at least, I always want more, and I'm always interested to see it again. And I don't know. It's the same. I think it's the same question sometimes. That there's things like Star Wars. There's things like that fascinate us forever, and I think Alien always comes to be kind of alien to Star Wars. It's like a Star Wars evil sister to me. Like it's the movie that comes 1 year after the original and kind of always there, and it kind of lives in a similar world that looks quite similar in many aspects, but it's made for adults and it's violent and it's vile and it's borderline pornographic and iconography. So it's always like a good answer to the innocence and adventure of that other saga. So there's something there that I think at least keep me, interest forever.
I've seen a small glimpse of Romulus, and I have to say, you got me with the physical sets and that sense of real physical space that we know where people are, and when you get the sense where they're going to or running from. And that's something I've missed since Aliens, I think. What is the secret for making an Alien movie fly like that?
I think it's kind of a brute force approach. You gotta take cinema not as the process of making the movie cannot be a means to an end, which is what I had become. You do parts separated, you shoot against the green screen, people do all these things that sometimes make no sense to people on set. No one knows what story they're telling. And then eventually someone will put it together. They will paint on top of it with CG, and then they will complete everything that's missing. And oh, look at that, an adventure, a movie, which is great. I mean, for the audience, sometimes they might not see the difference, but I do think they feel the difference.
Yeah.
And but for me, filmmaking should be more of a creation of a world that you go through in an adventure that you go through together, that I go with my actors, that I throw a lot of challenges at them, there's creatures in there. I'm like a war, director with the camera. I'm just go there and try to capture the whole thing. And then I come back here to the real world and I put it together and I tell her, look what happened out there. Like I'm going to show you the adventure, the story that I went through with these people. That feels real to me and it's exciting. And I know that translates into the experience of watching the movie.
You have a very young cast in Romulus. So how's the process of finding the right actors for the right parts, and how aware of the first two movies were the cast?
I mean, the cast were aware, they know. I think, and if they weren't, they probably, before talking to me, they went and watched it and then pretend they had seen it ages ago. I'm pretty sure. So I don't know if they were being honest or not about how long ago I've seen the movie. If they haven't, they're usually an intelligent, smart actor, which is all these kids are. That's why I cast them. Will know not to go to the meeting saying, I haven't seen them. I don't know anything about it. That being said, it's actually better sometimes where they don't know anything about it. They just don't try to emulate anything. They don't try to reproduce anyone's performance. They just go in and go, okay, I got to try to do my best. And they don't really need to have seen the originals to do a good job in this movie. It's actually might be even better if they haven't. So I didn't, for me, there's no problem with they don't know. I mean, what annoys me usually when an actor pretends to know and be a fan and then says a bunch of stupid shit that shows that they don't know. And that's for the fans, that's what offends you. If someone comes in and says like, I don't really know, fine. If someone says, I'm a big fan and then makes a statement that is completely wrong, that's usually what bothers me. So these kids were really honest about I believe they were honest about their approach to the film. So I don't know if they know much about it, but how much they knew about it or not. But then when it comes to you were talking about the age and all that. I think they're definitely young, but I think people get this notion that they're way younger. But Veronica Cartwright and Sigourney Weaver were in their 20s when they made Alien. And usually the fear factor of those movies is around women, right? The Hardy's dated like a 50-year-old man like dying. It's terrible, but it's different. It's a different emotion that you get out of it. So I felt like Kaylee's 26, and I mean Isabella is younger for sure, and the whole group as a overall is younger. But what really makes the difference usually is those main female characters that are really the one that gonna go toe to toe with the xenomorph usually. So anyways, but I think that was my whole thing from the very beginning for me to feel that if I approach it from that place, I will have a new, it would feel different. The whole movie will feel different than all the other ones that usually always did the truckers in space thing, and so naturally will fall to over and over on the same idea. So I knew that if I changed the group, and also it's something that I'm personally interested in my movies, there's always young people. So that's what I do naturally when I'm gonna write it. There wasn't too much of a conscious decision. It was more about do it the way I do it, and it felt right to me.
Wow.